Hi everyone, welcome back to the Get Your Deck Out podcast. It's me, oldemodave. I'm here with Scott Elevenzees MTG, and we are here. The nature is healing. We are here to talk modern and talk about, I don't know, this has felt like for me, aside from my successes myself, we'll get on to later, one of the purest weekends of Magic the Gathering that we've had in a while, Scott. We have been sitting, ranting, crying, whinging about Vivi, and now life feels good again.
I mean, it doesn't matter how good a format is, people will whinge about it. Like, coming into this weekend, I was chatting with a couple of local players, a couple of people who were going to Antwerp, and there was conversations like, is Ephemerate too good? Is Jeskai Blink too good? There was one in the top 8 in Antwerp. There were, let me just check. There was Esper Blink in the top 8 in Vegas, but no Jeskai. So turns out Ephemerate's not a problem, and we just have a really nice balanced format on our hands.
Yeah, we saw that across the board. There was essentially about 14 hours of Magic every day of this weekend, which was quite a fun thing to be able to tune in on the feeds for. Reminded me of the old days of Hearthstone Grandmasters, where like they literally kind of like went around the world, like playing like China and Europe and America. Lots to play. Some fantastic coverage, but like before we do obviously get into it, just remember, if you love competitive MTG stuff, tournament news, anything like that, this is the place to be. Hit the subscribe button. If you're on iTunes or Spotify, follow this up. But we don't say that enough, but hey, there's a lot of you who are here anyway, so it's probably best if you want to stick around and hear that. And it's free, right? So like, we don't ask you for anything else, so there's no Patreon you need to do before you can actually hear our lovely Welsh voices talk to you about
Welsh.
Magic the Gathering. Oh, Welsh adjacent, Scott. You've been here a long time now.
If I've had a lot to drink, then I go a lot more Welsh, I will say that.
There we go. If you, in the comments, let us know where you think Scott's actually from, and if you guess correctly, like, we'll send you a sticker or something like that.
And that's if you don't know me and know where I'm from.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, if you physically have the ability to dox us in real life, please stay out of the comments.
Also, to be fair, I'm not sure some local players would even know where I'm from, to be fair, so
that is true. That's true. But let's stay this side of the pond for our first little bit of review. Let's take a look at how the top 8 and how that went down in Europe. One thing before we even look at that, I'm not even going to say let's take a look at the breakdown of the metas, because I think it's fair to say it's just balanced.
yeah, it's just good.
It's really healthy, really clean. I think if you really want in-depth stats, again, another person we've talked about before on the channel, Optimus Tom TV, go check them out on Twitter. They literally go in, like, more than me or Fire Shoes do. We just like what we see and we retweet it. Tom literally analyzes everything to the absolute T, balances it out, does all the cleaning, all the fan casting effect, and essentially told us that, yeah, the best decks in the format are barely above 10%. Like, I think we saw 13 was about our outlier in some of the events. And then the conversion rates across the board were pretty balanced as well. Frog's still a bit stinky, but other than that, you can play a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I could have told you that. Known Dimir Frog hater in me. I love Psychic Frog as a card. It was the card I pre-ordered first out of Modern Horizons. The only way I could see that being playable is, I know Aspiring Spike has been looking at One Shitong decks very deeply, and there was a Dimir 2-drop tribal, basically, where it was just 1,000,001 2-drops, and then like Force of Negation and One Shitong and stuff like that, and up the top end it was playing Consult the Star Charts as well, because it was basically all instant speed stuff. But that's probably at least okay. But I think if you're trying to play Psychic Frog and Kaito, and you've like got 2 Considers and 1 Spell Pierce, because some blue players see one-ofs and just absolutely can't help themselves, I'm sure this exact statement will come out of my mouth again later on when it comes to talking about Dimir in Standard as well, where We've got a Team Trios event coming up. We're not on the same team, which is very exciting. But I'm looking at these Dimir decks, and I'm just like, pick a removal spell. There's no way that it's correct to have one stab, one shoot the sheriff, one heartless act, one nowhere to run. Just pick one. There's got to be one that's better. And if that's a case of this one in particular is good against this deck, this one's good against this deck, pick a deck to target. Because right now you're just 48% into everything. You're doing the Murktide thing.
Yeah, talking about the sort of pick a spell discourse, the amount of crybabies I saw on this weekend on Twitter asking for cut down back and just saying like we'd be balanced if we had cut down, because ultimately like that kills a Wang Shitong and kills a Cub. Like there's plenty of other things you can play.
It kills a Wang Shitong unless you cast it for X's too. Like
exactly, like you are yeah, pick a lane, go with it. But yeah, let's take a look at Europe. Before we even just like look at the top 8, I think we just honorary mention, need to shout out our boy from from the last podcast, Alexi Pirlo, still was up there, like almost all the way to the end, eventually finishing something like 27th around there with Golgari Yawgmoth. I did think originally that we didn't actually talk about it on the pod, because I thought we actually stopped because we knew the podcast was going to come out before the RC. But I looked it back and he actually just YOLO talked about it last week and just went, yeah, I'm playing Yawgmoth because the frog's going to be busted. The Cub's going to be busted, sorry. And he was absolutely correct. And
known Soul Cauldron enjoyer and Alexi as well, right? So
yeah, like just basically, well, on tiebreakers essentially, like is missing out, well, like one win away effectively from doing it yet again. But what a good shot. But going through what hit the top 8, we'll just go with if they've been done by usernames as well. Got Amulet Titan, Is It Affinity, Boros Energy twice with Daniel Tolado winning it. Ruby Storm, Jeskai Brink, Is It Prowess. Like, top decks doing top deck things.
Yep.
Nice little balance.
2 Amulet Titan, 2 Boros, and then 4 unique decks. You can talk about the density of combo in the format, but that seems like it has actually gone down since last time we had a real deep dive at the format, which was probably the Pro Tour, where that was won by Belcher, obviously, and you have to scroll for quite a long time before you find a Char Belcher list.
Yeah, that did sort of fall off the map a little, right? There's some people who were sort of proper Belcher soldiers, but when I was scrolling through, checking out how our friends are doing on day one, I saw a lot of 2-3 drops with that particular list. It's the one big change, but I think again, like big change for good, right? Because
I think 55th. I've just had a little scroll. I think 55th is the first Belcher list.
What do you think that is?
It's the beauty of modern. It's because there are lots of things that are really good against Belcher. Whether that's you just end up playing Consigned to Memory because it's good against Eldrazi, and then it just so happens to hit Belcher really hard, or what I personally want to do to Belcher players, which is have some redirect lightnings in my sideboard and redirect their Belcher activation to them.
Oh, that would be beautiful.
There's lots of things and lots of ways that you can hit Belcher, but that's the thing, is there's a lot of ways that you can hit a lot of these decks. Where coming into this weekend, I know a lot of people who were playing Boros were a bit kind of iffy on it, and then it started looking okay again, and then people were packing, I guess, slightly more hate for it, and it dropped off again, and then it just so happened that not that many people are playing Pyroclasm, for example, where for a long time, when we got to the point where Boros was, I think, like 22% of the meta at one point, everyone had 3 Pyroclasms in their sideboard and everyone was ready for it. But this is the churn that we've always seen in Modern, and I think it's a testament to how well they've ended up balancing the format. Are there too many MH3 cards? Yes, like it's a completely different format to the Modern of old, but it is a balanced format, and as a as an environment, Quantum Riddler shook things up meaningfully. I think Badgermole Cub and Wan Shi Tong are going to have a smaller impact than Quantum Riddler, but they're still having an impact if it means that Yawgmoth ends up at 2% of the meta instead of 0.1% of the meta. Cool. That's another deck that you can play. The price point is obviously a concern, and I know you clipped me out of context asking for a Riddler reprint and posted it on TikTok, and there were some people in the comments going, what's this fool on about? Why would you want to reprint Riddler? It's just been printed. And it missed the context of, I said, when are we next going to get a printing? Because I was talking about the lack of Masters sets.
If we had a modern Masters from there, though.
Yeah, so if we had a modern Masters set, I don't buy that it's because of a lack of reprint equity, because you could just print a secret lair and that makes its own equity. But there's plenty of cards that need a reprint, and I'm not saying Quantum Riddler. I'm not going to bait all the Commander players on TikTok again with that.
I might though.
I might. Sure, go for it. But like, would we be upset if we saw a Masters set that had Mox Opal, Ocelot Pride, Ragavan again, Season Pyromancer again? Print all of these things, get these cards in the hands of players. I'm looking at the price of these decks, and when the budget option in Ruby Storm, which is
saw that. Yeah.
It's one of the cheaper decks in the format, MTGDecks.net has it at $509.
Well, this is the thing as well. Like, that's creeped up to there. I was in a group chat which I saw
because there's no reprints. That's why.
Yeah, and in a group chat that I saw this morning, someone was asking about Pioneer, and classically again, they want to play an Eternal format because they've played years ago and they've got a few cards, and they've been told this is never worse.
We're gaming.
And this is one of the better stores, like Full Fire, right? We're saying like, no, well, we've had to stop Pioneer because, like, there's only so many times in the day you can play, and you got to play the formats to get and support it competitively. How about you play modern? Ruby Storm is like budget, that ain't budget. And I don't think that's the players thinking that $600 is budget. I think it's because
it's budget in the context of modern.
But I also think that they still think that that's about £400. I think they
£400 isn't budget.
I know, but like they're still on that reference thinking like, oh, like the cards weren't up there. Like, for example, they probably thought Ruby Medallions were a couple of quid, and Valakut Awakening should be bulk, and Artist Talent is a couple of quid. Although these are cards that are like, because of the refinement now, have crept up and up and up.
I sold 4 Ruby Medallions for I think like €9-10 each.
It's crazy. And like, even just down to, I need to go through my bulk. I just noticed an Untimely Malfunction is currently going for $5 a pop.
That's a Commander card.
I think thanks to our friends from Bulk Box back there, I've got a few just sitting there really nice and clean and tidy. We need to get them on the buy list.
It's just probably going to be worse than Redirect Lightning as well. I know 5 life is a steep cost to pay, but 1 mana instead of 2 mana, especially for a deck like Ruby Storm,
where you're just winning if you go off.
That's really, really good to have access to that for 1 mana. But I wouldn't be surprised if it moves in and out of like Affinity sideboards, like Affinity or Metalcraft, that sort of thing. Like, probably not the turbo versions, but the slower ones with Tameo, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think as well.
Even Boros.
Exactly. But you were talking about like the Masters idea, the set, and we don't necessarily put ourselves as Commander friendly on this podcast. We're not haters. We let you exist. That's fine. Have your lane. But I think this is a time where like we all could come together. Like, Commander Masters sets kind of missed the mark, but they also hit the mark. The
Pauper players loved it.
Pauper players love them because and it tends to, because there's that sort of need to make it a draftable format still. They'll rebalance cards, which then helps them have almost like a pseudo rotation. Well, I think we had double Masters was in 2022 when we had double masters now?
Yeah,
Or
but
20?
they've also said they have no plans to do another one, which is really concerning.
And that's the thing. Tell me not doing modern Horizons. I
Yeah,
think
fine.
I think at this rate, look, this is a great example of a good set that is instantly injected at least 2, possibly 3 cards into the format. That's fine. That's fine for modern. In fact, modern will be okay if you got 7 sets a year doing that, because they're not even that bothered about buying the actual.
But that's
booster
because
boxes.
because the volume of cards in the format is you can absorb it.
Yeah. But so don't be dropping one big set that's gonna basically mean you have to buy 4 cases of it because your whole format's changed. And that, but what we would absolutely absorb right now is you saying next Christmas, I guess, or in the summer, that we're gonna do triple masters.
Do whatever the hell you want. Just reprint some of these cards. I'm saying this as a person with quite a lot of money in Magic. I have a pretty large collection. I would much rather my Mox Opals be worth €10, not 120. I don't see where they're going to print Mox Opal, Mox Amp. In fact, I'm going to go on my Mox Field and I'm going to sort it by price. So Mox Opal, Force and Negation, Quantum Riddler, Urza's Saga, Ocelot Pride, Mox Amber, Boseiju, Ragavan, even Bowmasters, Tameo, Solitude. These cards are all like
£20 plus.
I have a playset of them, and they are more than €100 for the playset. And as Magic players, I understand this is a luxury hobby, even though it's just ink printed on cards, and it's only luxury because people deem it to be. There is no reason for my collection to be worth a down payment on a house.
No.
There is fair enough. If I have rare cards, like I've got some dual lands, I've got some expeditions, that sort of thing, fine. Those can be expensive, those can be exclusive, but that's because I'm opting in. Do the Final Fantasy thing where the base art and the base version is £5 max. But then if people want to go and get the special art with super foiling and it's all full art, or the characters got their boobs out, whatever Final Fantasy players do, I'm not sure. All I know is that the Tifa cards are all expensive, and that's for one reason, let's be real. But do that. Why are Cavern of Souls so expensive?
Yeah.
Nothing's playing them. Yeah, fair
like,
enough in Commander, but they play 1, not 4, and that's a really different prospect to spending £35 on a card 4 times as opposed to doing it once.
Yeah, like we've just seen the link between playing on Arena and playing in paper get a little better in relation to them saying, hey, if you turned up in an event, you're gonna get the 3 daily wins ticked off. Cool, great. But I think
if it works.
Yeah, exactly. To be honest, I haven't like physically like tested the concept.
The last time they did stuff like that, it just didn't work for me. I don't know if that was me uniquely or what, but they were talking about how if you go to an event and then you'll get like a pack on Arena or something. I did like 6 of them, didn't get a single pack, and it was all on the same Wizards account. So,
but they got they've just literally could make this side of the game easy and accessible, because ultimately on Arena, and if you're playing something like Timeless, like, you know, and they're trying to bridge the gap of, hey, that's trying to encourage people to play this in paper because this is fun. And I would admit, like, if you can wade through the odd alchemy card here and there, it's quite a fun format to play. In fact, in Timeless, you haven't got to wade through them at all, because it's all like the standard. Scott's given me for the audio listeners only, Scott's giving me the he's legitimizing alchemy here. I'm not. I'm just saying that Timeless feels a little like Modern for those who don't play Modern. So it's a great onboarding tool, but what they do is they literally go, like you say, to MTG Top 8, go to Card Kingdom, and are faced with a £650 bill. If you're in a position,
and that's for a budget deck. God forbid they want to play Affinity or any control deck, or
yeah,
Domain Zoo's $700. Amulet Titan's pushing $1,000 now.
And some of the usual Amulet Titan players have definitely got the full artists of those. But we
like I remember when Amulet Titan was 400 quid.
Yeah, we definitely got something that needs addressing to basically get more people playing. We had some great numbers for these tournaments on the weekend, like over 1,200 players or nearly 1,200 players in Europe.
Should have more than that though, man. The size of the TCG we should have a lot more than that.
Yeah, I do agree. I do agree. There's one thing I'd like to sort of call out about, like, just the actual top 8, which did say the Ruby Storm being up there. How is that managed to get there in this current metagame? Because this doesn't feel that different to the metagame where it absolutely bombed for Modern Horizons 3.
Mate, it's 2 heroes hang out. That was the secret sauce.
2 heroes hang out. I love to see.
Red preordain. Let's go.
Pierre, I actually like Pierre was actually interviewed over the weekend, and they were a very interesting and very charismatic interview. So, Pierre, if you have a secret source that you want to dump in the comments, then and you believe this heroes hangout, please come and tell us. Spider-Man, the Spider-Man set is the reason why you're at the Pro Tour. Because Magic the Gathering wants you as the poster boy for saying, "See, we told you, Spider-Man."
No, it's crap. We all know it is.
Well, Europe had theirs, America had theirs, and do you know what? Like, obviously, other guard games tend to find that your metas like massively shift as you go across the world. We're going west, like 2,000, 3,000 miles.
Modern is so flat that it doesn't matter where you go in the world.
Yeah, so we saw very little difference. Similar stuff would come to the top, but not like dominate in any shape or form.
It seems like tier 1 is Boros and Amulet Titan, and then tier 1.5 is Jeskai Blink, maybe Esper Blink, Affinity, Corey Affinity, Blue Green Ritual, and Domain. And then tier 2 is 50 decks, where it's like Blue White Control, Storm, Grixis, Belcher, Neoform, Tron, all the Eldrazi decks. There's 15 of them. And the Canadian RC is actually a little bit more compressed. I know that they only had 372 players. So a little more compressed than, say, Antwerp or Vegas, where generally the more players you have, the more people you're going to have doing odd shit. Like, for example, Alexi playing Yawgmoth. I don't know how many Yawgmoth decks were at this tournament. I would be surprised if it's more than 5.
Yeah. Also, talking about weird stuff that was there, I saw Cavern on Humans, who's on Twitter, and like they like playing basically humans decks. Actually, called that somebody actually took Ores of Humans to RC Canada, and they went 4-4. Like, to be fair, like, what a trooper! Like, champion of the parish, let's go! Like, just somehow made that an Esper Sentinel like crush a few people's dreams. Could you ever imagine being on like your winning in for like day 2, and like you just you're like rocking up like so tuned to the meta, and you have to readjust your brain to I'm playing Ores of Humans, like. That I've actually gone and grabbed the list as ready to stick it into a Magic Online account, because I was like, I just need to see this in the flesh.
I've just had a look, by the way. So there was one Yawgmoth player in Antwerp, in Alexi Polo, and there was one at RC Calgary. Can you name the one at RC Calgary?
Oh, well, the thing is, Misplaced Ninja didn't play, so I would have said them as my YOLO guess. And another good.
Sorry, I might be wrong. There's another one here from Antwerp.
2 in Antwerp.
A couple in Antwerp, a couple in Vegas, and it looks like one in Calgary.
Who was it? Who was it in Calgary?
Alex McIsaac.
No way. Literally. on this podcast over the last 3 weeks, we've had literally those people who just call out, yeah, I'll just be playing Yawgmoth and the Cub. I wonder, because obviously that's come out and it's expensive. I wonder if we're going to... What?
There's another Yawgmoth player in Calgary who went 2 and 4.
Oh, they weren't playing the Cub though, right? So that's why
they were 4.
Skill issue, gotta be.
Or Badgemore Cub's just not as good as you think it is.
I think it's a fantastic card, but we could come on to it. But that might have been it might be the next evolution, I guess, as more people get that card in their hands. I bet, like locally and on card market and everything, people were paying. Well, I think right now it's at about $40. So I can imagine what trader prices for Cubs were at these events over the weekend. Upwards of 75 wouldn't have shocked me. So, and I bet they were selling. So I reckon we'll see them get in. We'll see Magic Online leagues now where Yawgmoth will come in, and that'll help again shift the needle in Modern again, won't it? And but we'd still stay like we always would say with Modern. Pick a lane, pick a deck, because one you enjoy, and become an expert, and you will be in a good place right now for some time, I believe.
Unless it's Burn.
Yeah,
Burn's still not playable. Sorry, Jen.
Well, yeah, just do prowess instead. If you've been playing standard for the last couple of years, you've actually got quite a lot of the cards. So
yeah, fair point.
So
basically, we could talk about this until the cows come home, but you can pick up one of the established decks, whether that's one of the Felia decks, whether that's Jeskai or Esper. You could play Titan, you could play Storm, you could play Boros. Take your pick. Someone top-8'd with Jeskai Ascendancy in Vegas as well, which is basically blue-red Corey Affinity, but with some slightly different stuff going on. But there's a lot of different decks you can play.
Play what you want, enjoy what you play a lot, and focus on that as you go through. And
I did hold up the Slither Wisps when you mentioned Pioneer. I'll be real, I'm also considering trying them in Modern as well, but we'll see.
Ooh, spicy. We'll have to get that booted up and get some stuff out on the channel. Slither not being randomly printed in Foundations like a lot of cards are.
It does feel like the kind of card that could be in there, like just snuck in, right?
Like Harbinger of the Seas, I found the other day is like that's.
Well, I'm not sure they print Blood Moon style effects.
No, not Harbinger of the Sea. No,
Harbinger of the Tide.
Harbinger of the Tide. Why? Yeah, I had Modern on the brain.
The Merfolk one with Flash, or that you can pay 2 more and it has Flash.
But like that was like a card at one point where you're like, oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty busted. And like now it's just like a bulk rare in Foundations. Yeah. It's like quite a thing. Another deep dive episode on what did the Foundations do for Magic, which was reprint a lot of stuff.
I think really good things. Honestly, I think Foundations is part of the reason why I've been kept in Standard, and that's speaking as an established player. Is Modern is my first love. That will forever be my main format. I'm actually getting a reasonable Standard collection built up just from picking up playsets of random stuff here and there. And as soon as I see cards in Foundations, I'm like, yeah, I can spend a few quid on this. It's legal for another 3 years or 4 years or whatever, plus maybe. And that can only go so badly. And some of them are really powerful cards. Like Alesha and Flamewake Phoenix are powerful cards.
It's like you live with Bolt Wave, right? Like Bolt Wave in the right burn deck is just perfect. Like you just...
Yeah, it's a symptom of the modern era of design, in that you need everything to be interactive, right? Where you can't afford to play Bolt Wave, you can't afford to spend the card because you'd rather have, say, Burst Lightning because you need the option of killing the 1 or 2 drop that your opponent played that's just going to kill you. But I mean, we're kind of moving on to Standard organically. We do have a Team Trios event, and I know that you did well in a tournament with blue-green. You've labeled it blue-green Cub,
I haven't labeled it blue-green
just
Cub.
to be different. It's blue-green Ouroboros or Simic Aggro if you want to go off MTG top 8.
Simic Roids, as I like to sort of nickname it in my Magic Arena account.
You still got them 2 Tyvar the Pummelers in there, huh?
Yeah, so very standardly stock list at the moment, other than
swapping the Cubs in. You've got more mana.
It kind of hits different, the fact that like if you got 2 Cubs and you've got like 3 lands animated, like you can just kind of like just go, oh, I'm just gonna go in crazy and
just double overrun. It doesn't have trample though, right, Tyvar?
It doesn't, and I'd say like that was definitely what I found was missing. I feel that there's definitely for like the evolution of the deck, there's definitely like room for potentially like a hunter's talent, like because that's the bite spell.
I was going to say that's the bite that then you can level it up, and it
gives trample on combat step.
Is it trample and something, right?
Yeah, trample and +1/+0.
Yeah.
So if you think about like you assign that, you could even assign that to like the Ouroboros and like, you know, make things bigger and grow that way. So
but yeah, you kind of get to do the Innkeeper's talent thing, right? Where you go put the counter on and then the Ouroboros resolves and you get the extra counter. And
yeah. But what I would definitely say from like playing the deck, it's definitely going to be strong. I definitely think like right now standard is, hey, these were the decks we were playing. Here's the upgrades we've had from the new set. And innovation hasn't hit yet. So like I think like in the fringe parts of the internet, you're starting to see some people put some lists together, like Boros Ascension. I think you're seeing people play, but right now it's just, hey, Gruul Leyline can be good now. Hey, Boy can be upgraded. Hey, you could bring Dimir back, and
I still think that deck kind of smells. Not gonna lie,
Dimir. Yeah. Well. I think that's the thing, is it's always just there when someone's not doing something to be broken. And I saw a lot of people are still, like you say, doing the whole, hey, I'm gonna play a couple of this spell and a couple of that spell. So
it's not some people, it's every single deck is like 2 Bitter Triumph, 1 Fey Bloom Trick, 1 Heartless Act, 2 Phantom Interference, 1 Shoot the Sheriff, 2 Stab, 1 Nowhere to Run. For God's sake, make your mind up.
Yeah, and Enduring Curiosity is no longer a secret when you're holding up 4 mana. Like,
Enduring Curiosity is messed up. Kaito's a really good card if you can support it, but it feels... You know how I always say that Dimir Frog in Modern is 56 bad cards and Psychic Frog?
Yeah.
This is like 56 medium cards and Enduring Curiosity.
It definitely feels like the meta doesn't try to beat it, so therefore it beats the meta. As in, like the deck could just be.
I think you need to try very hard.
But I think you can handle it if you just build your deck well and you play well. However, I did get beaten by a Dimir player on the weekend who was just played fantastically well. That my deck needs tuning to. I think there's definitely something.
I think every deck does, right? Like we're what, like a week or 2 into this format, and we've had what is ostensibly quite a powerful set in Avatar.
Oh, 100%.
Where shout out everyone saying it wasn't very good, and shout out me saying that Ang and Boomerang Basics were fucked up. But yeah, it's a really powerful set. Wan Shi Tong's a really good card, obviously. People are playing Badger Mole card. People are playing Ang. There's an entire Allies deck that's doing well. I haven't seen it very much, but from what I've seen, it's just rancid. It's just a pile of random crap. However, it keeps doing well.
It kind of like spirals out of control, and the cards hit a touch point that are too big for currently played removal to necessarily handle quickly.
That's something I did notice, is I've been playing a lot of blue-red decks because I'm a healthiest control player, and I swapped out Torch the Tower for Firebending Lesson just because I want to try the the lesson package. We'll come back to that. But I noticed that even the mana dork, the Great Divide Guide, it's a 2/3 for 2 mana, and it kills Earthen Ally real good. But then they've got like Hakoda, and they've got Invasion Reinforcements. Katara's a 3/3. South Pole Voyager's a 2/2 as well, so you've still got enough to attack with it, but there are certainly some things that outgrow cheap removal, like whether that's your Torch the Tower or your Burst Lightning or your Stab, that sort of thing, like the cheap stuff that's a bit more limited that we get nowadays, as opposed to, say, Lightning Bolt or Fatal Push. But I was surprised with Ang at the Crossroads. That's the 5 mana 3/3. When it enters, look at the top 5, take a creature with CMC4 or less, put it on the battlefield, and then it transforms into some big dumb idiot. Yeah, beginning of combat on your turn, Earthbend 2, land creatures you control, vigilance, 4/4 flyer. That card's really good.
Yeah,
Ang's for Savior is really good.
They all go infinite with each other, right? As well, the Bison and
yeah. So all the ally decks aren't actually playing Appa, because for that you need to do the Doc Orlock. That's the one. It's the bear from Outlaws of Thunder Junction, which basically says things you cast off Airbender are free. So then you have Doc Orlock, Ang, and Appa, and Ang and Appa are consistently airbending each other, and you make infinite 1/1s. There's a lot within that space if you're not just playing random allies and beating people in the head with it. I feel like if that deck was busted, the ban, I'm going to call it like Splinter Twin, that would have been popping up already if it was insane, in my opinion, but I could be wrong.
We've seen it hit the ladders because, again, your good old should we just say your deck microphones of your classic Doomwake and Ash Lizzle and people like that, they've been running it on their streams.
Makes good videos, doesn't it?
Yeah, like once you just I definitely saw a tweet where someone was calling Doc Orlock like the next bogeyman of Standard. Like, if it's the bogeyman of Standard,
it's another 2/3 for 2.
And you know what? Like we say, the channel, we're not very good financial advice, but if you've got 50 quid and you want to go buy out the whole bottom end of car market, you probably can right now, because it's a 15p common. It's a 15p rare, so like it might be busted.
Uncommon, right? Doc Orlock?
No, it's a rare. It's a rare.
Is it?
No, it's uncommon, right?
Yeah.
So if it's busted, go buy it out. But
right, I'll put it this way. I googled Doc Orlock. The first page for it was the EDH rec page. That's how you know it's not having that much of an impact on Standard.
It'll be okay. Like, ultimately, like you say,
it will be fine.
Because once you got the removal out of that, it just can be dealt with.
If you live in France, you can get them for 2 cents each.
So also, if you want to go play the deck as well, the deck is fantastic. And if you're in the UK or in Europe, you can actually go and get your Axion Now singles from a link that's in the description as well, which also helps us out if you click that and you go buy stuff.
Do Axion have Doc Orlocks? They must do. I'm gonna look at how much Axion want for Doc Orlocks. Basically, what I'm coming on to with this is people are playing this like a full, it's out of stock. People are specking on it.
Bum bum bum.
But if
we did the best placement ad ever, and you're out of stock, Axion. Come on, like time
on an uncommon of all things. God,
jeez.
Yeah. Axion are good. Use them. They run really good events as well, and especially if you like Lorcana as well. And they have, in terms of like accessories as well and seal product, they're always really good with all that stuff, like Commander decks and they've got Bloomburrow Commander decks, Tarkir, March of the Machine, Final Fantasy. Take your pick. They have a lot of stuff like that.
They sure do.
In terms of this ban Appa Ang Splinter Twin deck, people are playing it too much like a combo deck when they should be looking at it like Splinter Twin. They should be looking at it like, I'm just playing a Bant tempo deck that occasionally I fall ass backwards into the combo. Because that's why, I know this is a long time before your time, Dave, and probably time before a lot of our listeners' times as well. Splinter Twin was so good because it was just a blue-red tempo deck. It played reasonable spells that were okay by the time or very good for the time. And then occasionally they just went cool on your end step, Deceiver, Exarch, untap, Splinter Twin. And then you just died. And you've spent all your resources trying to get past their Remands and their Cryptic Commands or their Blood Moon, stuff like that. And then they just kill you out of nowhere. That's how people should be playing that deck, and it's not how people are playing it currently. They're playing it like a pure combo deck. They're saying like, oh, what if it's like the Kona Omniscience deck, when you should probably just be playing the Kona Omniscience deck if you want to play a combo deck, or like Sultai Reanimator. But the concerning thing for me with Standard is that Dimir is currently sitting at 25% of the meta. I assume that is because we're early doors and people are defaulting and going, oh, well, Kaito's good. And as previously stated, people see a cantrip and 6/1 of removal spells and can't help themselves. But you've got mono red still. It's still about, even without Screaming Nemesis. You've got the Leyline decks. You've got Allies, Dimir, blue-green, Pixie decks. They've not really come back yet because I assume people are working on them. I know Black-White's done a couple of bits. You've got like blue-red Vivulous Vivi, essentially, where it's people just playing like Stormchaser's Talon and Duelist of the Mind and Fear of Missing Out and Mako and stuff like that, and it's just a pile of good cards. Sure. There's a lot to do in Standard as well. I know we were singing Modern's praises, but there's a lot going on in Standard.
Yeah, lot to do in Standard, and I think right now you can definitely you can definitely take advantage of people are trying to do a deck that's going to do a thing, and they're not necessarily going to respect that you're going to have a way to stop them. Like, I think we've actually got some quite decent counterspell magic at the moment.
Mate, we've got Quench back.
Yeah, quite like,
and
Quench,
it's a lesson.
Quench just is there. You can, and also you don't have to have the blue white on 2 no more lies thing going on, but you can also have that as well.
Yeah, but we still had what's the one that Dimir plays? Phantom Interference. But that is more of like, you can play Phantom Interference if you want to be more of a tempo-y deck, but then you can play It'll Quencher if you're doing the lesson stuff. Me personally, not playing it. I think the card smells. However, Accumulate Wisdom, I was doing some paper testing with my partner for this Team Trios event. They were playing mono red. They were playing red green Leyline for a bit, moving around a little bit, trying to find an aggro deck that they liked. I was playing blue red control, and I just stuffed the lesson package in it. And the third time that I cast Accumulate Wisdom with 3 lessons in my graveyard, I had to pick it up and read it. And I was making sure that I'd read it correctly. Because
you were about to do something ridiculous.
No, but it was just 2 mana, draw 3. And the third time I did it, I was like, there's no way I'm allowed to do this. Because then it was cool, draw 3, untap, level up my Stormchaser's Talent, pick it back up, go. It's like, this game's just over. And it's not even like you lose a lot. You play Boomerang Basics, Firebending Glass, and Combustion Technique. Off we go. If you want, you can play Abandon Attachments, which is that's the Tormenting Voice at instant speed. I know some people, shout out Stephen Dickman, saw him playing Gran.
Yeah, that's right.
Dragonfly Swarm is another good card as well. There's the what's the big thing called? Rannon Shaw, the big dragon that copies itself if you have lessons in your graveyard. There's a really, really high amount of just lesson stuff that you can be doing, but you also don't have to. You can just do the like Raoul, Roaring Furnace, Frostcliff Siege, into the Floodmoor Opt type stuff.
Do you think they've made these lessons this good because the learn mechanic that we would assume we'll see again in Strixhaven,
I really hope not,
is going to be underwhelming? I hope it's underwhelming if we do have it, because like to have some of this available to you at just like almost like Lura style companion, it was going to be scary.
Yeah, I don't like the learn mechanic for that reason, where I hope they do more lessons. Lessons are really fun. The problem with Arcane when they did Kamigawa was never the fact that they had the Arcane rider on them. It's the fact that Kamigawa was designed quite poorly in terms of they behooved more of the same to too much of an extent, where Arcane cards were on rate if you played nothing but Arcane cards, or really below rate if you didn't. These lesson cards are just kind of on rate or very slightly below rate spells. So like Firebending Lesson, it's not as good a removal spell as, say, Torch the Tower, just on its face. But you can afford to play it because you know you've got combustion techniques and accumulate wisdom and all of this stuff. So we seem to be moving back towards a standard back in the day where it was back when we had blocks, but decks were meaningful, and it was synergy-driven pieces where you say Sidisi Whip, which is one of my favorite decks of all time. You were playing a lot of the Sultai Tarkir cards, but you also had Doomwake Giant from Theros block, and it was like you're doing a core thing, but then you're touching the other sets in standard. And it was really charming because it was like the line was block constructed, then standard, then modern. And it felt like standard was just the step up from block constructed, where you're combining these decks together. For the last 5 years, standard decks have just been amorphic piles of cards. The closest thing we got was the mono red deck when it was playing all the mice cards. When you were playing 4 Heartfire Hero, 4 Manifold Mouse, 4 Ember Heart Challenger, and 4 Rockface Village. But that's because those cards were fucked up, not because it was like part of the synergy. It wasn't, oh, I've got this little micro synergy from this one set, and it's enough to build out 40 cards of my deck. It was, well, this is just the best thing to be doing all the time. It's not that there were other cards that were better in a vacuum, but the synergy for this took it over the top. It's just they were the best cards in a vacuum, and they had the synergy. With these lessons, they're not the best cards in a vacuum. Boomerang Basics isn't better than Into the Floodmoor as a removal spell in a vacuum.
Yeah, we had this argument on the weekend about the blue-green deck, and my gut was like, oh, I'd love to play a Boomerang Basics. It's like, but why not Into the Floodmoor?
Yeah.
And ultimately,
how often are you picking up your own thing with it? Not often. But then you get to go, oh, I'm playing Boomerang Basics because I care about lessons, and I also happen to be playing Thundertrap Trainer and Storm Chaser's Talent because they also go with the lessons. And you end up with, as I said, like a charming deck where you have a couple of Bloomburrow cards, but then you've also got a lesson package, and it actually feels like a standard deck instead of, well, I'm playing Pioneer but low power, and then Pioneer feels like I'm playing Modern but lower power. It's just piles of cards that don't really mean anything. But if I wanted that, I'd go play Modern, where I get to go, oh, look at these weird little synergies that come between cards that were printed across the span of 18 years or whatever. It's a different experience to do that compared to going in standard and going, right, I want to play an allies deck, Scryfall, type ally, let's have a look at what's on offer. And then you get to go, oh, well, there's Secluded Courtyard and Foundations, I assume. I've seen people playing it. I assume it's legal. Cavern of Souls.
Jasmine Tea Shop.
Yeah. And then, but then you've got the seed of Jasmine Dragon Tea Shop. So you're like, cool, great. So I actually have a functional mana base, or mostly functional mana base. How many colors can I play? And then they've ended up just in Bant. They touch black for, there's the Graveyard Hate one.
No, Raven Eagle.
No, it's whenever an ally enters, you exile a card from a graveyard, and they're also playing the Eidolon. Boiling Rock Rioter.
Yes, and then they play the My card.
My Scornful Striker, yeah. So, but this is too much in that direction, where we are essentially just playing Avatar block constructed. with better mana because we've got Secluded Courtyard, Starting Town, and Cavern of Souls. But that's better than, oh, I'm playing blue-red midrange, I'm playing black-green midrange, I'm playing Esper Control. And that's all it is. It's when you have a mix of all of it, that's when you end up with a charming format. And I hope we're on the way there.
Yeah, because if someone, we've been talking about like all these sets bringing people in, and like, you know, definitely at a corporate level, they've gone set good, numbers high, game must be healthy. I can understand that, sat in them boardrooms myself, right? But the crux of it, the bit which hasn't happened is Dave goes into the card shop, Dave gets interested in the game as a whole, sits down at a commander table, but with my next paycheck buys a box. Oh, I guess told there's another type of format. Oh, cool. With my box, I can build 75% of a deck. I'll trade into the rest, maybe buy a couple of singles on my store. Hey, I have the deck that I can play in my locals and go 3-2 and get a promo pack. I'm going to keep doing this cycle for a year or so whilst drafted, and then suddenly there'll be a locals where I actually do well in an RCQ. Then I'm suddenly playing modern. Then I've suddenly got a podcast on the internet as well. And like, we're all gravy, but
yeah,
like,
Dave, we skipped the doing well at local tournaments and going to an RC bit, mate.
we just went straight to a podcast. Maybe these are really good steps, and it's another reason why obviously we've got we put our invitation out there this winter. No one wants to play RCs this side of Christmas. Respect to any stores who have them on. We will shout you out as well on the podcast whilst we're shouting out our
let us know if you're doing anything before Christmas, because a lot of places just shut down in December. If
you're in the UK and you've got RCs on a Saturday, we will give you full unabated advertising across the whole of the internet, because we are doing our qualifiers on a Sunday in full fire in Gloucester, because we want to give people something really valuable to play for at the start of the year via playing standard and by getting their decks out. So
14th of December, Team Unified Standard. I'm going to be there. I'm actually going to be at a tournament.
If you listen to this podcast and you come to the 14th, we will be turning up with our not sponsored Creator Monster, and you'll all get a free monster from us and say thank you for being part. But you can play any Sunday all the way through from this coming Sunday, which is the 29th, up until the 28th, and qualify. Keep an eye out on my socials and the Get Your Deco socials as well, because we are going to run potentially one, if not two, in South Wales as well. And we're looking to run a couple more where possible, because £1,000 was going to be the value for first place. So we look forward to seeing you there and be part of it. Scott, we're not going to do any spoilers because both of us still need to qualify again as well. Because my slot will also be up for my slot, which I won this weekend, will also be up for giveaway. So if you subscribe to the oldemodave Twitch channel between now and the 14th of December, on the 14th of December, that's the second day. Sorry, that's the day after the War Child Invitational. It's been run by Chad Magic. We're going to help them plug theirs and get everything through. We'll then do a roundup on the 14th, where we're going to give this seat away. So all you got to do at the moment, if you subscribe on Twitch, you actually get 3 months of free Discord Nitro. So it's actually like the best £5 value you're ever going to do. Links in the description for that. You'll probably see us streaming right now whilst this episode comes out anyway. But yeah, Modern's great. Keep on playing. Standards back on the uptick.
Standards looking good. We're hopeful.
But don't buy your Cubs yet. Only that's bad financial advice. If you do, sorry, that's good financial advice. Don't buy your Cubs yet. Sell them now. Buy even higher,
like €50 or something.
Buy them even higher later on in the year.
Buy high, never sell.
Shout out Mengucci. We're off to we're off the card market to spend all our money. Catch you on the next one. See you later.